Hi, hope everyone. My name is Mr. Fruit, and welcome back to the GG Over Easy podcast, episode 188. In today's episode, we discuss video juegos, which is a shocker, I know. We discuss things as far as companies,
Content creation spaces like Cake.
well, content creation spaces, yeah, securing some bags, some game companies, people having this idea of everything needs to have exponential growth, even if it may or may not be realistic. Riot Games with some of their League and TFT stuff, Blizzard with whatchamacallit, their convention. Other things we of course fit in there, as well as question and answers and more, because even though past hour and a half I just talked about all that, I can't remember a thing. So
what are you talking about?
Enjoy this episode.
We've all been there. You have an unexpected medical expense, or you get into a fender bender, but you don't have the money to pay for it immediately. Now Dave can help you out of a pinch when you really need it. There is nothing more stressful than living paycheck to paycheck, and with Dave, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Dave is the banking app that could help you get up to $500 instantly with extra cash. With Dave, there's no interest, late fees, or credit check. There's more money to fill your tank, finally get your car repaired, or catch up on bills without having to wait for your next paycheck. It's simple. Download the Dave app from the App Store right now or go to dave.com/GG. Dave.com/GG. Sign up for extra cash account and get up to $500 instantly. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve Bank and Trust, members FDIC. Make sure you check the description right now for that link to Dave. Thank you, Dave, for sponsoring this podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the GG Over Easy podcast, episode 178.
78? Aren't we like at 8? Aren't we in the 80s?
We're in the 80s. What do you mean, my guy?
We're in the 80s, dog. Yeah, we're in the 80s.
188. Yeah, it was one of those.
The 80.
78,
Hey,
88.
you're almost there.
Look, it's a high number, right? I never was
It's
taught
so
to
high, in
count
fact,
this
that we
so
literally don't know what to talk about today. Oh,
There's
some
also-
things, but like...
well managed. It was a slow week as far as any big news. Although there was one news topic which I'm trying to remember, because I think like by the time it came out, it was like literally I think the day after we recorded or like hours after we recorded. I can't remember. So we missed out. But for those that didn't hear, XQC, the streamer, ex-Overwatch player, pro player, got signed to the new streaming platform Kick for $100 million for 2 years. Which I have a feeling they just had to up the amount so they'd hit the headlines that it's more than LeBron's getting paid, because LeBron got a 2-year like $97.8 million deal or something. So
wait, that's insane marketing.
yeah, so XQC got $100 million for 2 years. And here's the part that was so bizarre: non-exclusive. So the dude can still stream on Twitch. So dude made out like a bandit. I mean, congrats to him for grabbing that bag. I mean, sheesh.
Bag he grabbed. Jeez.
Everybody has morals until they have $100 million. I mean, to be honest, there's not many people that would.
I would question my morals for $100 million Kick deal. That being said,
insane.
I don't
and
have
non-exclusive.
To. No way. No way.
Yeah. I'm still waiting to. I mean, I don't. Deals on the table for me. We're busy negotiating. I said bare minimum.
They would, dude.
No, they
like
wouldn't.
you. I mean, not $100 million, but like obviously, but like they. I mean, something like Kick for Mr. Fruit.
I don't
Come
think
on
they'd
now.
toss a coin to your streamer. No, I don't think so.
Just to have like a 2 million subscriber YouTuber on there. I don't know. Maybe
the subscriber
So
count means nothing.
Rob, you're so innocent, and I love that about you.
I do love you coping for me though. I appreciate that.
you.
Yeah, you're always there. So in a world where Kicks offer me a deal, which didn't happen. Just insane, because that's like, money.
See, that's like wealth money. That's like your kids are set too.
That's
as long
gambling
as you don't
money.
fuck it up. Yeah.
So a lot of people coming back and forth. I mean, like completely disregarding Kick and what people think about it. Jesus, content creator getting signed for $100 million, non-exclusive. That's where I'm like, huh? Because
I mean,
all that money, and I think their strategy is he like starts on Twitch for the day and then moves over to Kick, but still pretty insane. And I'm sure he has requirements, even though it's not exclusive. I'm sure the contract specifies some amount of time
oh
or
yeah,
whatever
100%.
that he has to stream. It's just that he can also stream on Twitch. So interesting move by Kick. It's crazy.
I mean, at the end of the day, like it's a pretty inflated number for the purpose of exactly what you just said. Like, is XQC worth 100 million on a platform? Definitely not. But
But they
because
slang in that bag. So.
but because they have this massive marketing budget, I mean, they're literally printing money. Like this company is giving like creators 95-5 splits. Like it's where's all that money coming from?
I think
The
they're
infinite pools of gambling money that is funding
Yeah.
Kick. So
I think they're
Yeah,
doing even like minimum, essentially like minimum wage or something for partners that like pays out
yeah.
X amount hourly or something.
you get like hourly or something like that.
Yeah, so we'll see where it goes. If they continue to like push this money thing, then I mean it's as much as I still don't want to go to Kick because man is that place successful. At the same time, it's like it's always good to have competition to show Twitch. And
That's what I was just about to say.
and I mean like we talk all about how it's like gambling is like all this gambling money. It's like my brothers in Christ, Twitch is owned by Amazon. They can get a couple. They can figure it out. I know Twitch is the more like front facing. You know, it obviously has more users, so it has more bandwidth to pay for. That being said, you've pushed ads so hard, and you only give people a 55% ad split. You take half of everyone's money, except for like the lucky few who still have the 70-30. And yeah, it's like Twitch can figure it out. So I think it's good that Kick is pushing this. Obviously, the XQC 100 million is posturing because of who you're gonna say. Yeah, Kick now has the most popular streamer. They also got Amaranth too, I believe, right? So
Yeah.
like their marketing tactic is, hey, all your favorite Twitch streamers are on Kick now. Didn't work so well for Mixer. That being said, Ninja wasn't exactly like the most sought after person by the time they got him. So, and XQC definitely has a lot more reach than Ninja ever had. So I think this will work out better, and simultaneously because Kick is just getting so much publicity, I think it worked really well. I mean, I think Kick already has significantly more of like more people have its name in their mouth than Mixer ever had already. So,
Well,
see how it goes.
the funny thing though is, like the day after the announcement, in a couple days, he's already been getting in trouble because he keeps just streaming copyrighted movies and TV shows.
Was it the first night he tried to stream The Dark Knight? He's like, I can just do whatever on this.
And they're like, no, you still gotta.
Hey, no, please don't do that.
DMCA stuff still, please.
Hey, calm down, big guy.
And then he comes back, like tries to watch Breaking Bad, try to watch something else. Like,
Can I ask you something though? Why is it not okay to like say per se watch the whole episode, but you can go on YouTube and watch Breaking Bad clips and that type of thing? Are you still technically not allowed to do that, but it's like different or what?
There's some fair use law where as long as it's under a certain amount of time, it's technically okay. That being said, I'm pretty sure a lot of these companies can just straight up take it down on YouTube. But because it's not the full episode, right? Like it's still like having the option to freely watch the episode in full is a lot different than, yeah, here's that 5-minute clip of the show, one of the most iconic moments of the show, yada yada yada. So
What's the difference of like me watching a clip by myself? Like, oh, I
Exactly.
wanted to watch this thing versus me streaming
Yeah.
it to 80,000 people
Yep.
Yeah.
making money off of it. Where it's like, well, but yeah, at the end of the day, like Blue said too. Anyway, I think they, for the most part, aside from very few clips, whatever, like if they wanted to, they could just come out and be like, hey, we're taking all this down, or you can't post any of this, or but usually it's just easy free advertising, or like, you know, there's like some trending TikTok clip that they throw in at Breaking Bad. They're not gonna be like, take that down. They're like, oh, sweet. Thanks for the free marketing
Fan
campaign.
cam edit.
Yeah, sweet.
Stop giving us publicity.
So just an insane number. Interesting move. Again, we'll see how it all plays out. Kick, again, is trying to, you know, find their way into the niche, but in a less restrictive, that's a way to put it, platform. And if you just look at some of the faces, quote unquote, of the platform, you'll kind of get what there's like, whatever. Viewers are viewers, because at the end of the day, Kick exists as a stream platform to get people to go to stake the gaming platform, whatever that essentially backs them all. But
yeah, I heard a thing where they have to have like a stake stream in like the, or like at least like slot stream or something like that, like in the recommended thing. Yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, yesterday, what was it? You'd gotten off, and then Joey and I were trying to find something to play. I pull up Twitch. I'm not even logged in, because Twitch was being stupid. Two-factor wasn't working, so it's like, we're not going to log you in. But I log in, and then it's like, channels we think you'd like to watch. And it's like, just like the 5 recommended or whatever. 2 of them are just, like female cam streamers playing Diablo. Apparently, that's like the hot thing right now. And one was Amaranth. And I had to take a picture and send it to Joe. I'm like, what am I looking at? She's in like a cow bikini, with her, like, she's sitting in a chair with her legs spread eagle to the point where like her knees are by her head, taking up a third of the screen, playing Diablo. And then it's like, streams we think you like. And then there was one other person, except you can see more like the full body, like to the point where like the bottom of the chair.
You can see Moose Knuckle?
Yeah. And that's why it's just like, I'm just like, huh? But that's just like
a podcast like this.
Yes, and you would get to for free.
Yeah, for free.
Rob, you gotta stop giving free viewer. You gotta stop giving this out for, get people to pay for it, man.
Yeah, hold up. I gotta censor that. Come on now. I gotta protect your brand. You gotta pay for that.
Size 11.
Huh?
Jesus Christ.
So it's just like everybody.
I thought her boyfriend was making her do that stuff. Was that not the case?
Yeah.
No. She. That was a much different thing. The reason that happened is because she basically had an abusive boyfriend. She definitely still does this for, obviously she's absolutely banking. So it's like,
oh God, I could only imagine.
She obviously, I mean, for all the she's just getting naked. Very smart businesswoman. If you ever listen to any of her interviews about it, yeah, I mean, like on Kick especially, it's like, why not? Why not just be like, man, can't do this on Twitch? Bug it.
Yeah, that's
get some of these horny little shits. Like, go for it.
Like, if you're going to Kick, just like go all in.
Send it.
Just do it. Like, I don't know. Especially if you're someone like Amaranth, just like go balls deep. No pun intended.
She's banking. So, Mr. Fruit was like, "What is this?" The 84 horny dudes who like don't realize they could just go to Pornhub. Oh my god, dude!
But it's just like,
I think
imagine.
It's more so like,
I'm telling my nephew, like, "Hey, you like gaming? Check out this Twitch website." And bam. It's like their first recommended. It's not like, oh, it's just like...
Sydney when Sydney first made her Twitch account, she was like, "Yeah, I had some like Amber or something girl." So like, she's like,
They push
she
out
had like
everybody.
a lot of viewers, and she's like, I don't know why. So I clicked on it, and she was like, she was just sitting there like in a bikini, like in a like knee deep water. And I went, yeah, like.
Hopefully she didn't say that Mr. Fruit donated $100 put his name on my arm. That wasn't me. I mean,
Yeah,
respect us, but like that's part of it too. Is like where some people too are like, you know, Kick isn't the highest moral ground. Yeah, maybe, but it's not like Twitch is also.
yeah. I was gonna say like as if Twitch is like
the only time we ever see anything
true.
from Twitch, if it changes, if there's a major pushback, because there's still, I believe there's still like slots and stuff if they want to. You just have to disclose whatever certain things. And it's just like, people are gonna stream whatever they want to stream.
Very true.
And it's just like Asmongold came under fire recently. Surprise, surprise, where he was like, yeah, I think he alluded to the fact maybe that he's like talking or would talk to Kick about a deal for the right amount of money. And then there's like a clip from him like 2 years ago or whatever, like, gambling's the worst, it should be done with, it's not okay. And now he's like, well, it's fine, it's whatever. And like, I would never sell my morals. And I was like, well, if the bag's right. That's just what I'm saying. Everybody has a price.
Pardon your regularly scheduled podcast listening for this short ad break.
We've all been there. You have an unexpected medical expense, or you get into a fender bender, but you don't have the money to pay for it immediately. Now Dave can help you out of a pinch when you really need it. There is nothing more stressful than living paycheck to paycheck, and with Dave, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Dave is the banking app that could help you get up to $500 instantly with extra cash. With Dave, there's no interest, late fees, or credit check. There's more money to fill your tank, finally get your car repaired, or catch up on bills without having to wait for your next paycheck. It's simple. Download the Dave app from the App Store right now or go to dave.com/GG. Dave.com/GG. Sign up for extra cash account and get up to $500 instantly. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve Bank and Trust, members FDIC. Make sure you check the description right now for that link to Dave. Thank you, Dave, for sponsoring this podcast. Like, you can't go on stake in, like, the United States, can you?
I have no idea.
No
I
idea.
don't think you can.
Never checked
Oh,
out.
maybe you can.
Never checked out.
Well, I think it's like everyone
Oh,
comes
no,
to
you
the
can't.
point. It comes to the point where it's like Twitch is handling things so poorly. I don't blame Asmon for being like, yeah, I would talk to them, because it's not necessarily just the gambling is stupid. Obviously, I think most people agree. Promotion of gambling is not great. That being said, you have Twitch, who has more money than Kick and is really pushing some really weird and just not improving the situation at all for partner streamers, especially. So I get it. Like, it's just like a strike while the iron is hot moment, right? Like, Twitch is under hard critique right now. Everyone's pretty low on Twitch from a streamer or broadcasting perspective. So it's just easy right now to be like, yeah, I would talk to Kick.
You know, I have an IRL friend who
You have IRL friends?
Yeah, I know, very weird, right? Who loves like Pokemon cards and like loves ripping up open Pokemon cards and like streams on Instagram. And to try to like grow.
And who thinks
his,
I'm somebody that I'm not?
Yeah. I like tell him every day to start streaming on Kick and like just open up Pokemon cards on like Kick, because I think he'd be perfect for it. And he sends me like the most hilarious text yesterday. He said, "Damn, this all sounds dope. Is it where I can keep streaming consistently, or can I stream as little as once a month?" It's like, all right, well, like whatever you do, you're gonna have to stream consistently. I hope you understand that. Like, but I just think like right now, if you're a growing streamer right now, I think it's like the best opportunity. You know, you may have to like suck it up and give up on your morals or something like that. But I mean, Kick isn't the greatest website, but you definitely have more room to grow there than any other platform at the moment.
It's tough because I don't know if I agree. I think financially you have more room to grow on Kick. I think
Totally.
discoverability and general growth of like an audience, I still think Twitch is better. Obviously, YouTube's the king of it, right? Because the YouTube video does more work than like a 4-hour stream ever will. But I don't know, it's so hard. Like you have a lot of options right now, and I've never been the type to be like, oh, yeah, just do all three. But
I mean, the thing is, there's that whole thing where, there's no ethical consumption. It's like, well, Kick is Amazon. And I'm looking like Amazon, their parent company, and then all the stuff there,
and their practices.
Google and probably Alphabet and all the stuff they probably do. And again, if you really wanted to break it down anyway, everybody's terrible. I'm just so surprised. And again, I think it's just because Google doesn't care or doesn't see it as enough of a reason to invest more. But I feel like if YouTube just doubled down and was like,
into it.
all right, hey, we're here to play. We're gonna make. I think YouTube would just like wipe the floor.
If YouTube had a proper live streaming section directly on the site, not the dumb gaming shit where you have to be like gaming.youtube. No, like you go to youtube.com and you're like live channels, like, and you had a level of discoverability with categories and stuff. Yeah, I would be on YouTube all day, but it's
don't think
like YouTube doesn't need it.
Yeah, it's for whatever reason they're like, it's not worth the
we don't need it.
Investment or ROI. I mean, who really knows?
You got Mr. Beast. Who gives a shit?
So yeah, I mean, because aside from that, like the sad thing is, like, even though Mixer was a meme, would have been nice to see where it could have gone and maybe, because like, of all the ones we've had come and go, like Facebook Gaming and all that kind of stuff, Mixer seemed like the one that was like actually the most like trying to make something interesting.
Still such a good, like visually and presentation wise, still way better than Twitch.
But they were just so concerned on fast tracking to getting to like Twitch's size, and then not like
yeah.
Some of the deals they made were fine. Probably a bit too much money thrown around. If like whoever was above them was like, hey, you have X amount, here are the goals you have to reach by X amount of time. So maybe a little too much money. But I think like the signings were fine, but then they have to also give it time for like an audience and a community to not only possibly migrate but grow.
Culture.
Right. Yeah. Plus, like if Mixer was around right now, I think, especially with all this Twitch stuff, would just sort of like people who have moved to Kick, I think there would have been more people who have been like, all right, screw it, I'm gonna go try our Mixer. Like all they really had to do was you wait around until this. You know, Twitch keeps fumbling the bag at every corner, and then by proxy, just like Kick, it's free advertisement for every other streaming platform, because at that point everybody's like, all right, well, this sucks, where do I go, or where would I want to go, or where are my streamers going to go? But anyway, $100 million, man, I mean, sheesh. As if XQC wasn't already set. It's just like when Ninja went to Mixer, you know, everybody makes fun of him, or it's like, oh, you fell off now, or like, oh, whatever, nice mood Mixer. Dude sitting over there crying with his probably not quite 100 million, but plenty 8 figures going. Yep. That's so terrible. Now I get to stream whatever I want and
he took that
do whatever I want, and my kids are taken care of.
Mixer died.
Yes, sir.
Who gives a shit? Son.
I get it. No shame in my game.
He saw that bag. He's especially too like sort of saw like his popularity was. He definitely could see like, all right, it's because. That's another thing too, is so many people forget like, oh, Ninja fell off or blah blah. There are like Fortnite. Oh, Fortnite fell off. Even just the game. People talk about this in so many different aspects. Exponential growth cannot happen forever. There's a limit to everything because there's only so many consumers.
Unless you're Apple.
But even then, they're not seeing the same growth because it's again like. There's only so many, like, Fortnite hit pretty much every gamer, and then beyond to new gamers. And the people are like, oh, it's going to keep going. But, like, to where? It pretty much hit the ceiling.
I mean, yeah, they hit the ceiling. They became the game, and they're still... I mean, Fortnite is in the same tier as League.
Yeah, thriving.
Like, it's it's maybe it's like I fell off. It's like, yeah, I don't think they give a shit about your opinion on it falling off.
And
It's
meanwhile,
still
they're
printing
like,
money.
we're doing fine.
Yeah, like it's like exponential growth is impossible because there's only so many humans on the planet, and there's only so many humans with stable internet connection. So
But
eventually, it turns into the point where it's okay. Well, how do we find more niche audiences? Which I mean, great business tactic because that's exactly what Fortnite's doing. How do we find niche audiences for this season? How do we find more? How do we invest in more games? It's like Destiny, right? Destiny is not gonna grow exponentially anymore. It's hit its peak about 8 years ago, and it's like, well,
the only way they keep up is certainly not gonna.
let's make a new game. Let's make
Can
a new
I-
game. Let's get a
so-
new. Let's do something new.
Real quick, speaking of Fortnite, I don't know if you guys saw this. Fortnite is increasing V-Bucks prices in certain countries due to inflation.
Eh.
How does,
I
you
mean,
know,
it
how,
always
Long
well,
story
how does that work?
Long
How
story
does that
short,
work?
their R&R departments showed,
It's
hey,
literally an infinite supply of a digital currency. How is inflation affecting that? It doesn't make any sense to me.
It's so tough with digital products because it's like, well, I think for them, the reason it's a little different for them because they essentially like your season pass purchases or like you buying the season pass if you play through the season pass like almost
You're-
pays for itself versus like something like Destiny's, right? Where it's like, nope, you just sunk that money. That's it. Like, so it's a little different. It's
and the argument I would make now in Fortnite's case, it's because more money. Because like, are they strapped? But at the end of the day, labor costs. They're gonna have more employees. Like at the end of the day, does that one horse armor need to go from $5 to $6? Did its value change $1?
Yeah.
Maybe not, but all the back end stuff to actually make it go through.
it's the
Prices are probably
workforce.
increased, and they're also just like, how do we increase our profit margins? That's pretty much
And how
it.
do we keep paying our employees while expanding our workforce to work on new projects? So
And it gets complicated. I'm not too familiar with all of it because obviously I've only ever purchased in the U.S. But there are many countries where like sales tax are different, or purchasing taxes, or like
Yeah.
certain stores, like mobile apps and stuff, will take higher percentages or different
oh yeah,
percentages, or
Apple. We all
the
remember that saga?
currency differences, and so I mean, there's a lot to it. I get it. They're just like, hey, it's been, I mean, what, 5-6 years? Move it up a little bit. I mean, it probably tracks with inflation, quite literally. Do they need
Yeah.
to do it? Probably not. Not as in like, if we don't raise these prices, we're going to shut down. But then again, it's because the problem with the exponential growth, to bring it back, is like the problem is all the people at the top in charge want to see the same growth and expect to see the same growth. But when it hits a point, and then it's like, well, we can only do so much. We're doing good, but then so many people get blinded by the fact that, well, we need to do better. But like, this is good. This is certainly profitable.
Yeah, where else do
and
we go?
this is consistent. But they're like, no, we need to
No.
get bigger and better.
It's like especially like in the 2000s and the 90s, right? Where you had like, how do we grow more? How do we, like, and businesses made the massive mistake of how do we widen our breadth? And especially like more and more companies are like, yeah, so looking back at like 84th company to go under because they tried to like spread themselves way too thin. Maybe we don't do that. Maybe we just take a different business approach.
I don't know. So it's strange. But the world we're living in, because yeah, that reminds me of League. Like, oh, League's falling off, dead game now. When in reality, League, last I looked, in every country but the U.S., averages anywhere from still to like 5 to 7% increase
yeah.
in player population every year. Still, and I
That's
think
crazy.
America might even still be in the positive too. It's just like it's no longer in every headline and like talked about all the time. And to be fair, in the case of like Riot as well, they're almost competing with themselves now because now they want more people in
Yeah.
their entire
Well, that's-
ecosystem with Valorant. And
That's the biggest.
50.
That's the biggest like business shift as we're like going into the coming in the mid 2020s, right? Is instead of like how do we grow our audience, it's more so, okay, how do we like keep our audience engaged with more like a bigger ecosystem. It's not like how do we get more people, it's more like how do we double, triple, quadruple dip on these people? Make another game in the Riot launcher, Valorant.
I
Like
mean,
game studios now are just so people have a sense of loyalty because I mean, so many games come out, AAA games especially, where it's like, can I really like what's the level of quality I'm expecting? And you have like Epic, you have Riot, used to be Bethesda, where it's like, yeah, I
oh,
could trust this publisher to put something out from their dev teams that is gonna like, it's gonna hit a spot that I want to get hit. And it's like,
used to be
well,
Blizzard. Yeah.
what do I do? What are they gonna do? Double dip and make a game for the audience that they know they have, or how do you expand this for more gamers, guys? Pretty obvious answer here.
Diablo Immortal.
Oh my god, the fall of Blizzard. Blizzard used to
sad.
also definitely be in that camp. Blizzard was
100%.
like the progenitor of that, of like,
Yeah.
we have an audience.
Hearthstone, Overwatch.
We got an audience. Let's make more games. Let's stay in our lane and just make games for the audience that we know we have, and just keep on making games for them.
I loved the Hearthstone meta on Twitch. That was a great meta.
Hearthstone was a good meta.
That was
Well, oh, what the fudge? Gaming companies. Oh, Bethesda. Yeah, it reminds me because it came out again that like, what was it? Skyrim 6 is still at the very least 6 years out. I think it got announced 6 years ago.
It's actually the Elder Scrolls 6.
Elder Scrolls, yeah, whatever. Elder Scrolls 6. Where it's like, some people are like, somebody's like, I played this game when I was like 20 and before I had kids. I'll be in my 40s. My kids will have graduated college. And I might be playing Elder Scrolls 6. Insane. It's just crazy. Like, part of it too is like, I know you got the whole Starfield thing, but like, you didn't want to hire a new division, or like, but so like, there's just nothing. But you literally just 6 years ago, whatever. Hey, somebody drop some quick concept art, just like a city, throw Elder Scrolls 6 on
very
it.
beautiful city.
Yep, and we'll say it's happening, and we don't have to give them any promises. But trust me, they'll flip. Joke's on them. It's like 13 years away. For us, it was at least 13 years away. Just insane.
They're calling it Elder Scrolls 16, apparently.
Well, they're not wrong.
I mean,
It's just crazy.
yeah,
Because what?
Elder
Elder Scrolls came
longer.
out 12 years ago?
Also, I don't think they had any plans for Elder Scrolls when they announced it. I think it was like to pivot from how bad their year was. So
I'm trying to remember. That came out before 76 came out, though, right? I think so. I think they might have announced 76 at that same thing.
did they?
But I don't, because I don't.
2019? No, I think
No,
was
I'm pretty
76
sure
out at that
76
point?
was 18. 76 was 18. They had just come off 2018, which is an insane year
I'm trying
for
to remember.
Bethesda.
It was Damage Control. It was
I'm
something.
pretty sure it was Damage Control.
But-
Fallout 76 came
2018.
out October 23rd, 2018.
And when was Elder Scrolls 6 announced?
The 2019.
Yeah, I definitely remember they had an absolutely catastrophic trust destroyer of a year in
good
news.
2018. So they were like, pivot.
They took one out of Blizzard's book and announced.
They
had
did.
Overwatch too.
Did they
were like,
ever?
Hey.
Still never going to get over that, man.
Woo.
What a good
Insane.
time Overwatch 1 release was. What I would do to go back to that. And, here's me having the copium thinking, oh, Overwatch 2. All this is going to come out. Maybe we get back to that.
I was genuinely looking forward to what their plans was for PvE, because that was my biggest thing, is like, I can only I can only stay so invested in Overwatch's PvP when like the PvP has like the game has been solved by the best players already, right? So it's like the PvE, it's like I get to interact with this game, these cool characters, this cool aesthetic in a way that isn't competitive, and I could just like have fun. And then
While still enjoying the core
yep,
gameplay loop and feeling of Overwatch.
So real quick, speaking of Blizzard, did you guys see the prices for BlizzCon tickets? What would you guys guess?
too much.
A general admission ticket is. The ticket includes access to all halls, early access to BlizzCon store on Thursday, exclusive BlizzCon in-game goodies, and official BlizzCon backpack.
Could you give me reference like what was last year's ticket price?
Let me see. BlizzCon ticket prices over the years. Okay, so for 2010, it was 150. 2011, 175. 2013, 175. 2014, 199. I can't find BlizzCon 2022 ticket prices. So let's do 2021.
Well, I'm trying. I don't know. I don't remember. Did COVID restrict them from doing?
I think so.
Is this the
maybe.
first
I don't know.
BlizzCon? I don't remember.
Potentially, that I think maybe I don't know. But I'm just gonna say $300.
Oh, that's what they are now.
Yeah, $300.
That for a day or for
And-
the whole thing?
I think it's just.
Should be for the whole thing.
I certainly
for
hope
a
it's not
day?
for a day.
If it's for a day, good. Oh, good heavens!
Good
Well, and
night.
then look at this. Okay, but now there's a thing called the Portal Pass, which is
Oh, great.
$799.
What?
You get exclusive Portal Pass lounge, private viewing lounge, private concessions, gameplay experiences, separate registration line, separate security line, early convention entry on Friday and Saturday, lounge only. So I'm guessing the general admission is multiple days.
I hope so.
Okay, so yeah, after 4 years away, BlizzCon is returning to Anaheim, California on November 3rd and the 4th. We're so excited to get everyone together again, celebrate with our communities. La, 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 la.
La, 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 la,
This is the first time we are building BlizzCon this way. Wait, so I guess they're doing something different. This year, the goal is to make BlizzCon feel more experimental. I don't know if I'm using that right word. Experiential. I don't know. It will be one of the. Sure. It will be one of a kind immersive experience, bringing attendees into the universe of Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch with massive installations, art, and thematic spaces where friends can connect. Whether you're kicking back in Azeroth, exploring the mysteries of Dark Cathedral of Sanctuary, playing alongside the heroes of Overwatch, or tuning in from home, we want you to feel you are entering universes alongside your friends as you celebrate the experiences of what we are building next, and hear from the developers all across Blizzard about their visions for our games and their craft and more. This is the first time we are building BlizzCon this way, and our vision is building a giant playground for our communities that will allow everyone to create memories, share stories, and celebrate with us.
And that's because BlizzCon of old, no one cared. Getting to the point where less people are going and not as much reason, but if it works, I mean, if it's $300 for 2 days, that's $150 each day.
Fuck, man, that's insane.
It's sort of insane. And then I look at GCX prices, and they're not asking for much less for GCX.
I'm going to
But suddenly
FanFest for my
BlizzCon's
favorite
looking a
game
lot
of
better
all
now.
time. I'm going to FanFest, my favorite game of all time. I get I 150. Well, actually, was it 150? I think it was, or was it 200? I think it was 150. Anyways, regardless, yeah, it's pretty expensive, but it pays for both days, and I get to go see Soken, one of the greatest musical composers of our generation, rip a motherfucking crazy set on the second day. So they better have some. And also at the end of the day, I guess it's like Blizzard is a big. It's still a big, like, look at all these games that you play. Play them here at BlizzCon.
Where we
Also,
have phones.
Convention centers convention centers, like straight up conventions, they're like generalist conventions. My brother in Christ, y'all are charging way too much lately. My goodness.
Yeah,
Uh,
it just feels like just any kind of convention. Like if you want to go to like PAX or something like that, and you want a 3-day pass to PAX, like you're gonna be spending at least like $500. It feels like not just including like tickets, but just food, being there. And then you got to get a hotel or Airbnb with all your friends. Like it's just like it. Just gaming meetups in general nowadays I feel like are just becoming like just so untangible for most people.
Oh, 100%.
Like
Why PAX
100%.
South was the hotness. Like the first
So low
year,
key,
2, 3, cheap.
pretty cheap.
Yeah, low key,
Got to see my buds.
not crowded. So
how much was PAX South tickets? I don't even remember.
Actually, was
I
pretty
don't
cheap.
remember.
I think for a 3-day, it was.
it was something
I
reasonable,
don't even
especially
think it
the
was
first.
100.
I don't remember the first year, but certainly like the second and third, when attendance was just lower and everything,
It got a
pretty
little.
reasonable.
It definitely. It got a little higher, but I don't think I. I want to say it was definitely under 150 for all 3 days for a 3-day, even at its most expensive.
And then
Not that I paid
gives
for it
you-
because shout out creator badges.
Oh man. Okay, so this is okay, so I'm looking at July 25th, 2019. 3-day passes will be available for $90 and single day passes will be $45 a piece. What a time to
Miss
be
you,
alive in
Paxo.
2019.
Those were the
Missed you.
days, baby.
Now,
That was
granted,
so nice too. I was also kind of like an excuse for us to just go play board games and TCG.
Well, I was
But
gonna
like
say,
to
it
be
was-
fair, that was wicked.
Oh,
we were
this,
paying
look
for
at it.
space to hang out with friends, essentially.
This article says PAX South 2020 reveals badge prices and purchasing dates. This is like from 2019, obviously, before
Yeah.
the whole pandemic happened. But
Unlucky.
yeah, so 3-day passes, $90, man. Bring us back. Miss you, PAX South.
Good times. Rest in Pepe.
But
Speaking of
GCX is gonna be cool.
speaking
I'll be
of League, though, they revealed their brand new game mode. The new game mode, the League, in like 3 or 4 years when they had Nexus Blitz for a couple months, and then just took that away for no reason, even though that could have been something cool. It's their new 2v2v2v2 game mode, and seems pretty cool. It's like an arena. Like literally, you start in, and it looks like TFT. You start in a little arena, and it's cut out into 4 pie slices. Each team of 2 is like standing off with each other, and then it's the bye phase, and it's real quick. You go into one match, you fight a team. It's just like a 2v2. You're in your own little arena. Different arenas have like, especially as the game goes, have like different modifiers where like champions will show up.
Augments.
Yeah, like
if you
one
will.
is like you could find there'll be like a fighter Set who will show up, and Set will like double down on anybody who gets knocked up. So if you get knocked up, Set comes over and just whacks you.
Hate
Or,
when you get knocked up and then get whacked up.
The new champion, the Fury, she's got like her little hounds. If the hounds detects you, she'll come over and just whack you for a whole bunch of damage. There's a whole bunch of modifiers. You fight the team. It has a little circle too, so it goes real quick. It's very similar to like Battle Right. And then once that round's over, you go back, you buy again. You lose a little bit of health if you lose the match. You start with like 20. And then you lose more as the game progresses. You get more money. Then you start to get augments, just like TFT. So like every 2 rounds or something, you get augments, which will give you just like new spells or new abilities or new modifiers. Looks really fun.
Looks fun.
Hopped on PB yesterday with Joey because it's on like the public beta environment right now for testing. I'm gonna wait for live.
Okay. It's bad.
It's just that
Doesn't work.
there's no normies playing. Let's put it that way.
Okay. So like, and that's kind of the thing I figured with Riot.
got
It's like if you download the
dicked on.
PvE, it means you care. Like you care enough that like you're willing to download this separate program, make a second account, you know? Like
I'll
the
say
people
as-
that play PvE are the only ones that give a shit, you know?
As a gold player, we played across I think 4 different games. And like us, if you lose every round, looks like you last about 7 rounds. 4 games, 28 rounds. I think I maybe had 2 kills. Cumulative. I mean, I'm just like, I gotta be honest. These people are just better than me, and we're not even playing the same game right now.
I'm not even gonna lie. These people are better than me.
They're
Were you
better than
able to
me.
see their rank?
No, because all their PB accounts. But like, they're better than me. They clearly like these people because it's been out for a couple days. Already have like metas because their team comps are way better than whatever the fudge Joey. I'm like, we're just gonna try. Oh Jesus. So yeah,
all the champs available.
yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, so I
That's
hopped
crazy.
in, and I was like, "This is cool," and there's something here, but I'm gonna wait for it to hit live when the game recognizes where I belong. This is one of those cases where it's like skill-based matchmaking ain't so bad sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Because like this is a game where it's like you would not play because unlike like the way I look at like FPSs, for instance, like Call of Duty. Skill-based matchmaking helps, but at the end of the day, Timmy Two Thumbs over here could end up killing somebody else just because time to kill is so low. And like, there's other things going on and things can happen. But when it's like MOBAs, there's a reason MOBAs all have skill-based matchmaking. There's so much more to them in depth and skill expression, just game knowledge you need to have. So then to distill that not only from a 5v5, but down to the only goal is to face off against each other in a small arena. Everything's going so fast. Just pooped on. So yeah, I'll wait.
Punched.
I'll wait for that skill-based matchmaking. But while I was playing it, I was like, there is something here, and it'll be fun. So I'm glad they're finally doing something because that's the thing. There's been a lot of rhetoric in the League community, very similar to Destiny. There's been some parallels here for a good while because everyone in League is like Riot has abandoned League for Valorant and their next games and TFT and like where's the new stuff for League? Feels like no one's working on this thing. It is a skeleton crew. Why aren't we getting as much content? They promised all these things. Now we're not getting any of these things. Blah blah. It's like 1-to-1 with Destiny right now. Except League's just been on it for they're like first time. But this year they came out and were like, this is like the most amount, like the biggest budget League has had for a year. And up until this point, people are like memeing, like biggest budget, Lamau, like what are we doing? And it turns out most of this is like new game mode, all these new skins, a new ultimate skin, which I think they said they would never do again, but here we are.
What's the ultimate skin?
For Samira.
Oh.
Because they have, it's a whole new line with this thing. It's Soul Fighters. They're like cel-shaded. It's pretty cool. They're supposed to look like sort of like comic book.
Like Borderlands-esque?
Sort of like, almost like Street Fighter. Cel-shaded, sort of. Because it's supposed to be like a fighting game, sort of playoff thing. But they have all this and more stuff coming out as well as like the new champ and whatnot. But that reminds me because in the same way, League's sitting here, praising Mort Dog because my man's came out with TFT, which I don't think they ever expected.
Did he start TFT or like what?
Well, he was like the head developer, and so whoever it was, a couple people at League were like, "Have you tried Dota Underlords? This is pretty cool. We should try and do our own thing." Or Auto Chess at that point. Yeah, it was Auto Chess before it became Underlords. But they're, hey, we should try our thing. So they made a little internal thing. I think it was like a
let's just steal from
side
Dota
little
again.
project. Well, who I think stole again from a modder. I think who just made
like
that one. That's where it all came from. So, and that's what we talked about. Like Riot doesn't reinvent the wheel; they just make a very refined wheel. Like they're like, they see you make a wheel, and they're like, oh, we can iterate and make that a little bit better.
Same deal with Epic. Epic has the same design direction. Like, how do we pump this baby with money?
I think Epic did try and make a bad, like a auto chess game, if I remember.
Oh, they
correctly.
did. No, they did. They did.
I think they purchased it because
I forgot what it was called.
It's called Auto Chess, because they took the original developer of the mod of Dota Underlords and bought him, and since he called it Auto Chess, they were able to like take the name Auto Chess, which is why they had to call it Dota Underlords. which
I
is why it's
see.
sort of an issue. You know, like when everybody calls a bandage a band-aid, even though
Yeah.
technically that's a
Oh yeah,
copyrighted
yeah,
term.
yeah.
Everybody will call these things auto chess, but now that's technically not auto chess is that game, not a game type because they like
Not a
copyrighted
genre,
it,
like
right?
a roguelike or something like
But
that.
everybody just says auto chess. But so that's why they had to change it to Dota Underlords. And I think that's why even if you see like TFT talk about it, I don't think they reference auto chess. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think the legal language will say auto chess, just for that specific reason. But they made that game, and if I'm not mistaken, recently I'd seen where I think 100% more people playing TFT than League now. And I wouldn't be surprised, especially since they've been able to find more ways to monetize it, probably more profitable. And so that's why, especially with TFT, like the TFT team has just like, it's humongous now. Which is, I have to give them credit because like part of the thing about TFT is like, if you don't invest into it as a game, fundamentally, you can't keep up. Like Dota Underlords fell off because people are expecting new things, new sets, new changes every couple months. And it's not like small little, tweaks. I mean, TFT made it to where it's like, it's a new game every couple months. New ideas, new fundamental changes that will make this season different. Oh, you really like that? Well, now it's an evergreen mechanic. And now they're doing it too, where after this set, every new season / set is even shorter because they're cutting out the mid set changes so that they just get complete new rehauls faster. And they keep doing this because they keep scaling up the team because they're just like, well, Jesus, I mean.
Well, now they have that treasure thing, and like there's a new
Treasure
like there's a
realms, yeah.
new there's like a new chibi in there now. Like there's this. I feel like by the end of the year, it started off with like 3 things in there. There will be 15 things in that store.
Well, because
then people will choose which one they want that guarantee roll on type of thing to where
they did it right because TFT came out, they're like, hey, this is pretty cool. Let's see what the public thinks. There really wasn't anything to buy for like season 1.
No.
I don't think you could buy anything.
I tried. I wanted to.
Yeah, the only ones
I did.
There were those like 3 arenas you could get.
Bongos or something like that.
And then like the void one where it's like if you hit rank 30 or something.
Yeah.
But there's like nothing.
Oh, the arena.
But, yeah, if you just grinded, like if you just played a lot, there was like little arena skins, and that was like it, really.
It's like this one's purple instead of blue.
Yeah.
Like,
and so everyone's just like, dude, this game's sick. Got really popular. And they're like, we're not making any money, but people are showing up. So slowly over time, they're like, all right, well, now how do we make this profitable? All right, well, arena skins. All right, well, they like arena skins. What's next? Well, then we can make like different summoners where we get like the penguin and all that kind of stuff. So now they've gotten it to where, yeah, there's like more ways to monetize it. And the thing is, I don't really care. I mean, they've gone more for like the gacha style with these like mythic things, which are like Little Devil Teemo and some of the crazy like.
It looks a lot like the weird train game you guys played, like where you open up a thing, the train door opens.
Well, yeah, it's literally gacha.
Like,
and the reason they're doing it is like, well, more money, different way to monetize, and so that's what they're doing now. Is they're like, all right, well, we got the people here. Now, how do we make this more than profitable to continue operating? And the best part is for me, granted, I see them and I'm like, I need them. But it's just like League. You can play TF2 without any of these and your gameplay experience changes 0. Which is what I appreciate. Like, yeah, maybe your arena looks a little cooler, but like the core game isn't suffering because of the microtransactions. If anything, the game keeps improving so that they can find new ways to make microtransactions and sell them.
Yeah, I feel like TFT would have been weird if like they came out with all of this at the beginning, like it just.
Well, because then the rhetoric would have gone from like this is really fun to like this is kind of fun, but also yeah, why are they pushing like a lot of the games like what was that Warner Brothers fighting game that we played, Multiverses? Because I don't know if you guys heard, Multiverses went back into development. They like shut down open beta, even though it was technically a release when it came out. They're like, joke's on you, we're taking it back, we're going to release it again next year.
Wait, what?
Yeah, and the server shut off. I think like maybe today or next month or something.
Shut up!
Yeah.
Really?
Because like as you know, they're like we got seasons planned and we're gonna do things, but I think they fumbled the bag and haven't heard this story before. A live service game that didn't know how to keep up with a live service. They're like, oh, well, we fumbled this. So I guess their ideas are now we're gonna take it back and re-release it next year to try and capture that hype again to get people back. But everybody's like, you didn't say you were taking away. We like people paid. There were plenty of cosmetics. Like they're not getting any of that back. That's one of the things where it's like,
I've never heard that. Really?
yeah. So the rhetoric's like, well, that seems like a cash grab, and a lot of games have that where it's like they release game's kind of mid. Maybe it'll go somewhere. I'm not sure, but there sure is plenty of microtransactions. So like, which makes you think like, oh, they're just here to get some cash, get out. They're never going to fully realize it. But TF2 was the
Interesting.
opposite, and
I had no idea that happened.
yeah. And then last bit on, I guess, the whole league thing. Just 2-3 days ago, there was a reveal from this new studio, and I think the project lead slash, like whole head of it is Bungie worked on Halo Reach, then moved on to League and worked on Riot Games for the longest time. He's heading this new thing. Gotta say, pretty hyped for the game. It's called, currently, the codename's like Project Loki. I'm sure that'll change. But they showed some gameplay. It's in like closed playtesting right now with NDAs and stuff. But it's like League of Legends meets Super Smash Brothers meets Apex Legends. And it looks like what I always wanted like Battle Royale to look like. It's gonna be free to play. I saw that and I'm like, okay. Well, sheesh, brother. It looks super sick. It like checked all my boxes. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm always torn because like I sort of want to get in on the playtest, but with NDAs and stuff, I don't know if I should just like wait until I can play it and then first reactions and stuff. But I'm not sure. MTash and I might just playtest a little bit because he and I play Battle Royale a lot. But that's a cool looking game. As far as yeah.
Anything else?
I do want to put out a eulogy for a game that I was rooting for.
Oh.
Mr. Fruit. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh no.
What?
You probably haven't because this game
Titanfall?
is pretty fucking dead.
Titanfall?
Prospectors.
Oh, the Cycle Frontier. Yep, shutdown.
Today's news we share with a heavy heart. The Cycle Frontier will shut down on September 27th, 2023. Making this decision was very difficult to us, but ultimately a necessary one. More information on this, yada yada yada, yeah. I started playing the Tarkov clone and I was like, I can see where this can go. But then like as soon as I just kept playing, I was like, I don't think I'm playing this anymore.
That sucks.
It
It's a
sucks
fun
because like the actual like PvE VP BR setup I really liked, and I actually did play the game every now and again to just like because the game felt good to shoot, felt good to play and vibe around. I love the art style. But yeah, as soon as the Tarkov stuff came out, it was kind of the nail in the coffin for me. I was hoping it would find more success,
I think they were too.
but yeah, just didn't find it. I'm very sad about it.
Sucks for that studio. Because like the game's good. They make some cool stuff. It's not like it was some like shoddy game that was just dressed up to try and like I could tell they enjoyed what they were making and they wanted it to be the best game they could, which is why they made the Cycle Frontier the first way they did. And then I think it was if we want to continue development on this, you need to get some money, and this ain't doing it. So you have to put a new spin on it. And so I respect the attempt to put it to like the Tarkov Lite because it did work. And I think they like we're able to shift it. Like the core of what they had made it work. It wasn't like a huge shift from what they were doing. But for me, part of it too is like, it's like, oh, this is fun. I'll check back in at 1.0, something like that. And I feel bad because, like, obviously, when people are doing early access, most of the time it's because, like, we think what we're doing is good, but we don't have the means to get to the point where we can just give you the full product. So we'll build it alongside you and sort of need your help to just, make sure we can keep the lights on until we finish making this thing. And for a lot of the games, for me, I hop on, I'm like, oh, this is promising, but I'm the guy that's like, sweet, I'll wait until full release. So respect all the people that actually, sit with it and help. Now, granted, if I'd kept playing it, obviously that I wouldn't have been the difference maker. But just unfortunate, but also is why I'm even more interested to see what they're doing with Marathon. Because we've seen people try this Tarkov Lite, even AAAs, like Battlefield and whatnot, try their hands Call of Duty with this sort of stuff. No, all of them are like shut down, abandoned, given up. The only one still really chugging is Tarkov. So it's why I'm interested to see, like, clearly Bungie thinks they have something that's different enough to invest in that people are going to really like. So I'm interested to see just like that. Yeah, like what do they got cooking with Marathon? What is their goal of being able to keep people playing that game?
Yeah.
For more than a little bit, because that sort of seems to be like how most extractor shooters work. Even Tarkov, new season, lots of players. Within a week, you're down to like 20% of the core players who will stick around until the new wipe. So, again, clearly Bungie has to have some sort of, thumb on this problem and think that they have the solution, or that whatever product they're offering will be worth sticking around with. Because obviously they're not making it to be a one and done. Like no AAA game developer really is anymore. They want you to stay in and play that game as much as possible. So
stay forever.
Yeah, everybody does. And when everybody does, it's sort of that same problem with the exponential growth with certain games. Like, a lot of things aren't hitting the same numbers, especially like entertainment-wise, because there's so much more offered now. Yeah. There's so much more competition that, like, there are only so many times for our eyeballs to look at something. And when everything's competing to have you on their thing all the time, which is why, like, I think we've seen, it reminds me of like Rumbleverse and stuff. A lot of games that come out, even if they're sort of promising, try like this live service model. But it's seemingly there's only so many live service games that can exist at the same time if they demand a certain higher amount of retention in players. Because if you're able to find a way where you can do a live service game, but like you don't need an insane amount of cash flow all the time, which is probably hard because again it's a live service game, then you can probably get away with it. But we're just not there yet. So
let's move on to Q&A then. First question here is from Snosbert. Says, are you guys excited for the Spider-Man 2 on PS5? It's real easy. His release date is October 20th, 2023. It
would help if I played the first.
I'm pretty excited. I think everyone's pretty excited. It looks really good. I mean,
I'm one of the weird ones that hasn't played Spider-Man since like it was on the PS2. Like with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man with the terrible voice lines. That's the last one I played.
I mean, they're cooking with this. They've been cooking, so
I've only heard good things. I just haven't had time to play it.
My favorite is like when people talk about it. Is Spider-Man going to be on the PS4? And then it's like the picture of Flick with like he's running away with like a little suitcase. So funny. XL rate 03. I'm so bad. Hey Fruit. First of all, I'm glad to know you're doing good and taking it day by day. Keep it up and take all the time and rest you need. You deserve it. Now, I'm sure you have heard it all before, but I just saw an ad for a mobile version of a Pokemon TCG app. Wonder if you knew about it and maybe have played it.
Yeah, sort of what Rob or what Blue said. I mean, yeah, what is it like the Pokemon Live or whatever they're calling it? Just a shell of what a Pokemon mobile game
actually
could
is.
look like a true Pokemon TCG app / game, digital card game could look like. And I feel like they can make Boo Cools if
Yeah,
they
like, I just don't
invested.
get it. Like,
They just invested the same way of like Hearthstone, Runeterra,
Marvel Snap.
even it's sort of a different
They've got
thing,
the
but
money.
yeah, Magic the Gathering Arena. Well, yeah, it's like
They've got the money.
they could. I mean, even just the profits they're going to make from Pokemon 151. This new TCG set could like
I
fund.
bought a 151.
They could fund the
Like,
entire dev, but there's like
You have the most ridiculously money printer TCG, and you can't even do like a good client. I know the game competitively is not like, you know, at the level of like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh, sure, but like you've got the money. You've got the money.
but I just don't think they'll ever. Again, for them, not a priority. I think it'd be sick. Because that's the thing too, is if they really bothered to, they could probably find a way to make a new game mode for the cards in the digital space that wouldn't work in the physical space. Similar to like how we've seen some
Yu-Gi-Oh
other
or
things.
something.
That are like, you know, Hearthstone even made Battlegrounds in the same way that they had normal Hearthstone cards, and then they're like, wait, well, we can also just use these for a new game mode. Same with Pokemon. Maybe make one that is more broadly appealing to everyone who doesn't quite just play normal competitive, and then make competitive also more approachable. But nah.
Inks says 2 questions. Fruit, I know you play Gacha games. Was wondering which ones you've jumped into lately. And Blue, any plans on streaming more or making FFXIV content in any way? I don't know which Final Fantasy that is.
14. I don't know. I don't think it's like super interesting to. I mean, I love watching like people beat their head against the wall, but like I don't think most people will like watching that.
Yeah.
As
Mr. Fruit.
far as my Gacha games, I mean, I tried Starro when it came out. Was playing that for a good while, but I have to admit, about 3 weeks Gacha sober.
Let's go! I'm proud of you.
Trying to just cold turkey it, just not because I've talked about the way my brain works and stuff. Like when I play this sort of
Like,
thing,
you can still play Epic 7 right now, right? Without spending, right?
yeah, but I'm not
Okay.
because that's eventually I will. And the whole problem too is like some people are like, well, sunk cost fallacy. You've already played or spent this much. I'm like, yeah, but if I stop now, then I stop myself from playing X amount more or spending X amount more. So, because the nature of it is just like that. Like I talked about it in when the like ADHD video I made a while ago. It's like all these monetization practices they do, they're researching people like me because it works on me, and I can't help it. So I'm just not playing it, and then I can't be tempted to buy all that stuff. So trying to go cold turkey. Maybe one day I'll come back or try something because like if I could maybe make a truly free to play account for a game that I liked enough that I would do it, but currently I just can't. So I think like currently the only other one I can think about that's coming out that I'll probably at least try is Blue Protocol.
I want it so bad.
Yeah.
Fucking Amazon. They pushed it to 2024. You fools!
I think they did that because they have their Throne and Liberty coming out
I
this
don't
year.
care.
I mean, yeah.
Give me it. But yeah, I get it.
Question here from Fruit Rasengan. Says, hey guys, it's been a few months, but I'm here now. Have you guys seen any Street Fighter 6? I don't play many fighting games, but this is by far my favorite fighting game in recent history. I just not super big into fighting games. I suck at all of them, and I just end up just hitting buttons. And
I've heard a lot of great things about it. I don't have like the mental fortitude to get into another fighting game. I'm like, I feel like I'm like an old boomer washed at fighting games. So like, I'm like, I gotta stick to a couple things that I'm good at. I can't like, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna spread myself too thin. I'll probably play it. Like if someone asks to play it, or like we see each other at like Fruit Summit or something, I'll be like, yeah, I'll play it. But I'm not gonna.
I think I talked about it. I never played fighting games growing up. It's like the one genre I have no experience in. The first fighting game I ever played pretty much was Dragon Ball FighterZ. So they're very foreign to me because, like, well, yes, I played Smash. It's completely different. It's not an input based. Like it's a fighting game, but not compared to like arcade fighting games. So as far as Street Fighter, I've seen it. Looks cool. Very good things. What I don't think people realize is I watch every fighting game. I watched every game of CEO this past weekend. Love to watch them competitively. I don't like to play 'em,
Oh yeah, same. Love watching it.
but I'll watch. I watch Skullgirls. I watch Guilty Gear Strive. I watched
Yeah.
Street Fighter. I watched Mortal Kombat. I watched what the fudge? King of Fighters something. I like to watch fighting games. I don't like to play 'em, just because bad. I do like
So, hey,
my favorite one to watch is Dragon Ball FighterZ because I have the most knowledge. Pretty much everything in FighterZ makes sense to me. Like I know what they're doing, why they're doing it, why they failed to block, or like why they chained, or I can even be like, oh, they're gonna do this now. Not because I'm good, but like I played it, so I know how the game works. The other ones,
yeah.
I essentially use the knowledge I have from FighterZ, but instead I just appreciate it for two people competing, in its purest form, and then I'm able to understand like block strings, and offensive versus defensive pressure, and mix-ups and openings. So I just carry those fundamentals, and then I just like to see the end of like tourneys. Like I don't watch pools, but I'll watch top 8 of pretty much any fighting game. Because there's just competition, you get to see the best of the best, and then it's just entertaining.
It's a big same, brother.
Wolfie says, as a small streamer, what would you recommend growing your channel, even if you can't post to YouTube or TikTok quite often? I've considered hiring an editor, but I don't feel I can compare them a fair wage. Thanks. I love you guys. My recommendation, if you can't pay an editor, especially like if you're young, man, take an hour every morning and just look up Adobe Premiere Edit or something like that. And eventually, or if you're in high school, look for a class that teaches editing and that stuff so you can have that sort of skill. And I mean, because like be real, you paying an editor, like you're just going to be losing money. Like you're not going to be seeing any of that come back or anything like that. So the biggest recommendation is to learn those kind of skills first and then maybe apply them to your content. And whether that be on TikTok, YouTube, Kick.
Well, if you're paying somebody
again,
to edit TikTok, there's never a world where
Yeah.
you're going to make that money back.
Exactly.
Even the
Because like
top ones,
TikTok
they do it
edits
as
are
exposure.
so TikTok edits are so simple. Like if you look up a video and if you look up a basic just how to like format a TikTok, it takes like 10 minutes. And you'll have people that are charging you $30 an edit that just do that in 5 minutes. Like it's all about just learning those kind of skills first, and then I think trying to apply them to your content. So
You could get a college education tier editing skill set by just like practicing and doing it online, to be honest, lad. I learned most of my editing skills, and Fruit will tell you, we didn't go to school for that shit. We just learned it. We just like did it, applied ourselves. We were like, yeah, this is pretty fun. Started doing it, messed around, found out.
And like when we were in high school, Christian and I, like there were some classes that like offered that, but like nowadays, oh god, I'm sure they're everywhere. Like in terms of just like Photoshop class or a video production class, just anything like that will definitely help you in the long run.
Yeah, I
Oh, yeah,
echo
go
the
ahead,
same
Fruit.
sentiments. I mean, I taught myself everything, not just video editing, how to capture, especially because back in the day that wasn't easy. How to capture,
Oh,
how to
God.
edit, audio mastering, rendering, uploading, SEO, analytics, graphic design, thumbnails, overlays, After Effects for VFX. I did the whole thing. I went the whole full 9. You don't have to. Like, if you just want to make some basic edits, way easier in Premiere than you would think, or some other. Probably also just like some free editing software you can use.
And I think like if you're consistent about it, like Kick is a great platform. Like, like in terms of like growing. Like if you're looking to grow and like you don't
Well,
give
it
a
doesn't
fuck.
sound like they're streaming.
Yeah, I guess it said if I can't post on YouTube and TikTok quite often.
And if they need
So
an
maybe you
editor,
instead fit in a quick 2-hour stream every day or something. I don't know. It depends. Like it all depends on how you work as a content creator and what content you want to post.
well, it depends on what they want to do. Because like,
Yeah.
I would never give up YouTube for streaming. For me, I
No,
started
never.
because I like making videos. Streaming's fun, but it doesn't satisfy the same.
See, and like
Just
for
getting
me,
bricked up.
I'm the opposite. Like I like streaming more than the YouTube side because I like the interaction and all that sort of thing.
Big same.
Absolutely.
And also, I hate editing now.
Loving the Nuzlocke so far. What is the most memorable out of the best Pokemon you've gotten out on a Nuzlocke?
Well, for me, the most memorable would be the Escavalier. But as somebody pointed out, the best one I ever got, I think I literally just banned it because everyone kept complaining about it, was a slacking, slacking that learned entrainment, and everyone complained. Because it's all fun and games until you get something that's really good and broken. And then everyone's like, boring.
You suck at this game.
Yeah, it's
I got
super
a
fun
really
if
good Pokemon. I'm nuts.
Yeah.
You are too good at this game. It's boring.
It's all fun when all the randomness is like super broken against you. But as soon as I get something cool, it's like, bro, this is so boring. I'm like, what, do you expect me to not use it? Or like, because the thing is, long story short, for people listening, like, what the fudge are you talking about? Slacking, you might or might not know him, especially we've already talked about it in Nuzlocke. Gen 3 Pokemon, super strong high base stats, and to balance it, they gave him the ability Truant, which makes it so that every other turn he just doesn't do anything. He loafs around. He's lazy. But in my lock, I got a randomized TM entrainment, which I was able to teach my slacking. Entrainment is a Pokemon move that gives the other Pokemon your Pokemon's ability. So, whenever I wanted, I could give any Pokemon Truant. So, I'm fighting something I'm not good against, or something really strong, or I don't know, good against my two. It doesn't matter. Send in slacking. First off, he's bulky. He ain't dying. Entrainment. Now they have Truant every other turn. And then I get to swap into whatever and do whatever I want. And people are like, bleh. What do you want from me? Sorry, I'm trying to win the lock.
I'd probably say my Dialga from Joey's playthrough. I forget what its ability was, but it was a really good ability. Or my Meganium. It was basically a Meganium that had the ability, if you get attacked by a fire attack, it doesn't do damage, but instead heals you. I forget what ability that was, but it was absolutely insane, and Joey killed the Pokemon that was attached for it. So
the soul of our soul.
You think of anything, Mr. Westlow?
At this point, it's so hard to even remember. Like, I think
people will tell me names of Pokemon. Like, oh, you remember?
I'll be like, who?
Hey, you remember?
Remember Ethan?
Ralphie? But man, I gotta be honest, man. Like in your Heart Gold Soul Silver, bro. I'm like, bro, that's my first Nuzlocke 7 years ago. I can't remember what I ate yesterday. You're gonna have to.
I don't know who are you talking about, bro?
There were like very few specific names I gave Pokemon that I remember, like Pork Chop, because rest his pieces. Like Larvitar, I was so excited. That boy got roasted super quick.
Yeah, I was like, what Pokemon names do you remember?
Baggles, pretty much like some of the very first ever cut. Baggles was Mareep. Heart Gold Soul Silver kept coming back.
Joey.
Well, Joey with just because he ended up being the Dugong. Like Magnus, I think was like an Infernape I had in Black and White or something. He was really good. Odison with Blue, the Giratina. Like a couple names that stick out. Because like the thing is, I don't remember what I named that slacking. I don't think I remember what I named the Escavalier. If you sort of describe like, hey, do you remember the Infernape you had in your X and Y. No, but I do. But if you're just like, dude, it's
Remember Franklin?
yeah. I'm like, you gotta give me a little more, and then I might remember.
I think the one I specifically remember that hard carried like the whole lock. I think it was Ash the Walrein. That was probably like the most like
Actually broken Pokemon.
not broken, it just got me through it. It just got me through that lock. Ash was there when I thought it was over. It was Ash. What was the pair? It was Ash and it was like your Arcanine or something.
I think you're right. I think it was Arcanine.
Jerry the Arcanine.
Jerry.
Yeah, Ash and Jerry. Those two. That was probably like the most consistent pair. I'm pretty sure I got a legendary that run, and I still relied on Walrein hard. So that was probably Ash and Jerry was probably my favorite pair. My two favorites because I could always rely on them.
OnePlus. People always forget. But like, if I ever had to point back though, realistically, one just like that, the two most memorable to me, Escavalier and Slacking, tanks. Because those are what gets you
It's
through
always
Nuzlocke.
tanks. It's always tanks.
Glass cannons, maybe they last an episode or two, and then one thing goes wrong, you're like, all right, deuces. But tanks,
Yeah, had fun.
you ever have a problem? Save me. And what do they do?
What problem?
They save you. That's right.
Crow says, have you seen the recent announcement of the closure of the original Warzone 1.0 client? If so, what are your thoughts on it? Considering this is the first time a mainline Call of Duty has had its server shut down.
Were
Were people still playing it?
There has to be some amount, but like, I view Warzone differently than like a typical COD experience because like, if you want, well, Warzone 2 fundamentally is very similar to Warzone 1, but if you want Warzone 1, well, that came from Modern Warfare 28. I don't remember what year that was. First one, the first sequel, but whatever the fuck, it's confusing. You still have the multiplayer experience. Warzone feels different in that, like, well, first off, yeah, to me, Warzone 2, aside from like maps, and I guess maybe some weapons, like, not drastically different, and you're meant to just go play the next one. I mean, did they have to shut it down? I don't know. They're probably saved on something. Like, maybe it's not entirely necessary. It'd be cool to be able to go back and play it if you wanted to. But the difference too between like the Modern Warfare that came from Warzone, you paid for Modern Warfare. Warzone was free. It'd be different if they were shutting down like Modern Warfare servers. Like, I don't know. I'm sure the people who it impacts, 90% of the people complaining about this aren't even playing it right now. They're just complaining for the sake of like, you're taking, like, most of them aren't really playing because yeah, I'm sure the population ain't huge. But if there wasn't an alternative, I think it'd be a bigger deal. But there is Warzone 2, which is what everything's going into anyway. So I don't know. Did it need to happen? Probably not. Does this one rub me quite as wrong as shutting down some other things where like you just no longer have that experience? Not really. But at the same time, I can understand why people are upset.
Yeah, I mean, I get why people are upset, but then I'm also in the boat where it's like, just play the new Warzone. I don't know.
I'm sure there are arguments like either the maps or some
Yeah, like
weapons or the sandbox.
it's the same thing of me going like, Halo 3 comes out and people are still playing Halo 2. It's like, just play Halo 3. Well, they're totally two different, like.
So I do get it. But
Blue, do you have an opinion on it, or you don't give a shit?
I'm not really mad about it because I never really. It's like what Fruit said. You paid for Modern Warfare, and Warzone was technically free. Everything you get in Warzone is usable in the actual main game. I mean, and for the most part, it's more so all your main game stuff was usable in Warzone. That was kind of the whole
selling point,
thing.
yeah.
So yeah, I usually am a little more like, I feel more upset at these closures of online games, but especially with COD, I mean, Warzone 2.0 is just so much better than 1.0. So, and that's still going strong. So, I mean, servers are all eventually going to shut down, right? So that's just the
Yeah.
reality of it. That being said, you still have a better Warzone, in my opinion, in in the new COD. So,
Johnny Appleseed says loving the Nuzlocke and the FTK 1 and 2 content. I was wondering if anybody you know, extended dream team, family, friends, etc., listen to the podcast.
I know
I don't know,
Joey
maybe.
listens
I know
to
Joey does.
some of
Like,
them,
I know
but
Joey
I
listens.
think Ruben does. I know my mom does.
I don't think
My
any of
mom
my
does too.
I don't think any of my family consumes any of my content aside from I think my older brother, who occasionally watches a video here and there. Very occasionally, because I'll know when I see him. He's like, "Hey, I saw your one video," and he'll name it, and that means a lot to me, though. I'm like, he's also a very busy
Yeah.
person, so I'm like, I appreciate.
It means he
that.
tries. He's like, he's trying. Like,
I don't expect
Yeah.
everybody to watch.
that's
my
what
stuff.
I do. That's what my cousins go like. I'm sorry, I don't watch any of your stuff. I'm like, I don't watch any of my stuff. Like,
Yeah, same. I have to watch a video with my voice in it. I'm not watching that video.
We'll do the last question here from Mr. Slippy, and we'll pick it up there from for next week. It says, good question to end on. Would you guys rather sacrifice 50% girth or 60% length?
Is Mike here? Is Mike in the? He's not. Okay, bless up. I can answer this question without being crucified by him for the rest of my life. I would sacrifice length because girth is the true
see,
meta.
like, but if I'm giving up 60% inches of length, dog, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm rocking like 4 inches. And
Yeah,
like,
but
that
you have
ain't- that
you
ain't
got
anything.
you got a meaty 4 inches. That's what's important. Like, I would take a meat stuffer 4 inches over
I think so too.
a pencil boy. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree. Because like I think because like my weenie would look like this. No girth, no, this little.
and who's that?
This
Who's that
little guy.
satisfying? What's that hitting?
That
That's
ain't
where
hitting
I'm
shit.
coming from. You're
I'm
not
trying to go rounds. I'm not going round.
exactly. You're not trying. Listen, y'all. The cervix is not comfortable. You need to fill. It's like when you're. You know how they don't stuff sausages with a little bit of meat. All right, that casing, you got to fill it. You got. You have to. Buttholes. All right. You can't just. You can't just
Stuff
shove
it like a turkey.
You can't shove a pencil down there. There's parts of the body that cause those nerve endings to enjoy something, and it's not because you're going into people's guts. It's because you're hitting a certain something, and you know how to help that? The girth.
When you
Girth of the
when you
gods.
describe a pencil, all I can think about is something stabbing something.
Going into my eye.
Exactly. Do you want that? I don't think you want that.
I would just ask my wife. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter to me.
She's
The same thing. Or like,
Just
if I
looking
didn't
for
have a
my
wife, it
dude.
would just be like, survey most women. Which one would be better? All right.
makes sense. Thank you guys for listening to this episode with 60% less girth or length, I should say. Appreciate you guys all listening. We will catch you guys next week. We're almost in the 190s, almost 200s. We'll have to do something for 200. I'll figure it out. Thanks for listening, guys. See you next week.
Deuces.